We have made it to the end of the week. It's finally Friday. So hope everyone's having a good week. Hope everyone had a good week. And I hope by the time you watch this, right, we had a good Friday. We're gonna be safe today, very conservative. Like I said, it's a Friday, zero DTEs. So we don't want to play around with that. Also, something I always say, just because it's Friday does not mean you have to play zero DTEs. I can't stress that enough. You can always play next week cons and be conservative. Just remember that. You can always do that. Okay, coming into today. UT SPY, still sitting under 673. We see buyers stepping in here at the 667.35. So really the game plan for me, if we stay under 673, like I said, I'm pretty much hands off. That doesn't mean that we're bearish, but look at all of that. That's just all sideways action. So you would be looking for pullback longs, but I don't want to really take anything in these channels. If I do take longs off these levels down here, it would just be scalps to the upside. Like I said, until we fall under the 653, this weekly level, then we are bearish bias on this name. So what I'd like to see is really for us to just reclaim the 673, and then you can clearly see really nothing in its way until 679. So we'll see, but hey, Spine wants to stay heavy today. Under the 673 and then fall under 667, we know we're hands off. Same thing here on the Qs. So Qs are a little different because Qs did fill us objective. We needed a deeper pullback on this, and we got it. You can see buyers are starting to step up here and finish 607.35. So I would love to see this thing reclaim 612. A lot of thin volume. This thing can go straight up. Zoom out here on a daily. Clearly, we are bullish bias on this name. Clearly, like I said, there won't be a break of structure until we fall under this weekly level here, which is 587.85. Now, for those who don't know, why will it be a break of structure? Right, swing high, swing high. You see, like we're in an uptrend. See that? In an uptrend. That's pretty much what we're looking for. But see this? Right, see that? But all this is a big consolidation period. So if we fall under all that, right, that's a break of structure. There's no doubt about that. That is a break of structure. You can clearly see that's a lower low. Since we are very bullish still on the higher time frame, all these are really just dip buys. Look where all these key levels are being defended by buyers. So see how the structure looks when you draw that out? They're all pretty much just dip buys. These are strong support levels here. These are strong support. So that being said, we are very bullish on this name. If we get back into this consolidation period, pretty unfortunate. But it's a Friday. I won't expect too much. But overall, just looking for us to reclaim the 612.80. Tesla pretty much hands off here. I am hands off here. It's a Friday. I'm not messing around. Like I said, I'm no longer interested in taking a trade off of 450. As of right now, you can clearly see it's an inside bar day stuck in between the previous day high, the previous day low. And as long as we are pretty much, I guess now, in between 466 and 410, we're pretty much just consolidating. So hands off here on Tesla. NVIDIA, nothing I want on this name. Like I said, the only trade I was looking to go short off of was 195.60. Reason for that being, price action is just terrible in here. Like it's such a compressed range. Remember, like when we broke outside of this, look how clean the price action's been. It's been very clean. And then look at this, right? Remember all that. I avoided that. Hopefully you avoided that. Like, see, there's nothing in there. And then these are just a lot of tight ranges. So even though now we're bearish buys, I'm not really looking to short off of anything. The only thing I was looking to short off of was this 195.60, just because that was just a cleaner trade. We're not in any channels. This is really the form of the lower low. Keep in mind, right? We broke this on the daily. We still need a retest of that. So that's something to be mindful of. But other than that, if this thing just wants to stay heavy, and it's no surprise, we made our all-time highs. It made it subjective, right? Now that we're starting to see, right? Look at that. It did its job. This thing has been, look at down here. That's since June, right? We're going pretty much into December very soon, so that's 100% normal. I'm not surprised if hey, holidays coming up, things are happening, people start selling, getting out of positions, and this thing just starts selling off. So it can't go up forever. The market is designed to go up, but this is normal. This thing did its job. It really did its job. This thing's been in an uptrend since June, bro. So probably even before that. So nevertheless, I'm not really looking to touch this name until we fall under that. Why? All you have to do is look left. Look how clean the price action is. I don't want anything in here. I don't want anything in there. So patience pays. We've been very patient on NVIDIA. We avoided the channel when it was in here. When it finally broke out, we started taking trades on it. So we're gonna let our trades come to us. So that being said, NVIDIA doesn't want to give us that, right? Maybe not today or tomorrow, and this thing just wants to stay heavy. I'm not touching this name until it falls under pretty much 174.50 because I don't want anything to do with that. So today, I'm pretty much hands off on NVIDIA. Apple still setting up. Let's go here on the pre-market. This thing is still holding up. You see a lot of these other tech names pulling back. Apple's still holding up, sitting dead smack in the middle of the range, and then dead smack in between previous day high, previous day low. But I am looking for a break and retest over 271.40. So this will be on my close watch list. And then AMD. So AMD, I'm watching as well. We'll see what happens. If it wants to pull back, because this is a breaker structure level, I broke this down. Let's break it down a little bit more thoroughly. If this thing wants to pull back here, right? If AMD wants to pull back here, it's a great dip buy, clear support level, and this is a breaker structure level. This is a key level here, right? See that? That is valid. That's normal. Targeting the top of this range. But right, a lot of these names are pulling back, right? Swing high, swing high. We break under that. That is a break of structure, right? That is a break of structure. So that being said, the key level here, because obviously we're not open up anywhere near 242.80. The key level here coming into today's session is 227.30. And I'm either looking for a pullback long off of this or a break and retest under this. But I'm going to read the price action because it's a Friday, it's a zero. If we don't get like strong buyers step up, because I know how AMD moves, and buyers want to defend it, right? But then we get like a slow grind up. I'm pretty much just going to be hands off there just because It's a zero. I got theta to worry about. I need the move to work right away. So just gonna read the price action. But nevertheless, this is really my key level here coming into today. So that's gonna be my close watch. It's really not a lot for me today. My side watches only have AMD and Apple may be the only one that sets up. If we go here on SPY, right? I'm not looking to take a trade off this name until we break over 673. That's pretty much it. And then same here. I mean, we know we're bullish bias, but let's go here on the daily. You can see we're kind of just, oh, sorry, that's the weekly. Give me a sec. You see here on the daily, like we're back in this channel. We're back in this channel, right? So I'm just hands off on both the SPY and the keys until we break over. And the keys 612.80, you see have an alert there, and SPY 673. Remember, 673 is like still our dip buy. Still our dip buy. So we'll see. We have one for renews at 7, but I don't think much is going to occur. But yeah, very light day for me. The only two things on my close watch is AMD and Apple. Um, and for those who's wondering why I'm not looking to take a trade off the 634.20, let's go here on the daily. Or I can go on the hourly. I'll go on the daily because of that. I don't want to be in that. That was a channel I avoided before. So really nothing I want to do with that. The better RR trade is over 242.80 because there's nothing in this way if it gets over that. And then remember, we want to be in a long position before we get back to the top of this range. So pull back long off of 227.30 is very valid as well. We got about 5 minutes here until market opens. Less is more. Less is more. I hope this makes sense when I say it, but whenever I come into the day to trade, I don't look for a trade. I am not looking for trades. My trades come to me. So if there's nothing on Tesla, Nvidia, I'm ignoring it. It's nothing there for me. If I see two key setups or even one, that's all I'm focused on. And really, my main focus is pretty much Apple. Apple's the only one that's kind of in play. Remember, we still need this pullback down here to 264.05. So Apple wants to stay heavy and kind of break outside of this zone. It's needed. As of right now, technically, this is like the only one that's really sitting behind. We saw, we got the pullback yesterday on AMD, Nvidia, filling these gaps. SPY and the Qs, pulling back to that 673 on the SPY and whatnot. So Apple's really the only one on the higher time frame that still needs to really pull back and retest. See that we still need this pullback to 264.05. So if we stay heavy today, that's pretty much just a play setting up, but still in this channel. Just crazy. Today be day wait, today be day 6. But like I said, we made all-time highs and we just had earnings, so I'm not really surprised. Really not surprised. It's kind of expected. About 40 seconds here till market opens. Like if this wants to stay heavy, I'll see. Um, it's faster to make money on the way down, as we know. So, if we want to break through 227, wouldn't be surprised, but we'll see. Okay, watching Apple. We know Apple's really my main watch. Okay, seeing this pop here on AMD. Remember, we're still bullish on AMD. As long as we're above this 227, we are still very bullish on this name. I can look for a break and retest over 234.20, but if I did that, it would really just be a scalp. Yeah, the market's like pulling back very heavy right now. Overall market. We're making new lows on the week. There's some divergence here on AMD. We'll see what happens. Like I said, we're still bullish bias on this name. We're still bullish bias on this name. I really only take this as a scalp. I'm cool with it just because it's a key level. You can clearly see, respect it very well. So we're just pretty much seeing the market be heavy. Um, I do see there is relative strength though on AMD. We'll see. She's just trying to reclaim this just so you can see it as well. Give me a sec. I like to see these reactions on my level. So, if really see SPY is heavy right now. So as of right now, I would say SPY and the keys are pretty much in sync. Right? Not surprised. Still bullish buys. Just stuck in this channel. I would just love this over 612. And NVIDIA is like trying to hold this weekly here. We'll see. But anything in here, I don't want. And then as I taught you, typically after a nice trendy day, what is that followed up by? Consolidation. So NVIDIA had a very big like melt to the downside yesterday. This thing trended lower yesterday. So yeah, Tesla's just yeah. Okay, so the way I'm looking at this on yeah, market's just very heavy right now. The way I'm looking at this on AMD is we kind of just got, like I said, this thing wants to move lower by all means. We really just retested this level. Market's moving very low. See, we got the breakdown pre-market on AMD, 234, and we just got a pop and fade off that. So we just retested that level, which is normal. I really want to chase this morning downside. If it's there, I'll take it. I'd rather take Apple. I mean, look at Apple. Like, look at there's 100% divergence here on Apple against the overall market. We saw that yesterday as well. Yeah, I got to pass on. AM. I'll see. I mean, look at the market. This is Q's. Look at Q's. Look at Apple. We know we're hands off with buying in Q's just because these things are back in channels, and it's going to be a while for us to say, okay, now we can short these the overall market. See this? Like Apple is holding up. It's even though it's been sitting in the channel. Remember, all of this week has really been a pullback week on the overall market, and Apple has not pulled back at all. Right? Apple hasn't pulled back at all. Like I said, this is a breaker structure type play here on AMD. So if this sets up, I'm open to it. It's a falling knife. So I would definitely just wait for more displacement, obviously. Like a SPY. A lot of these names, the raw market. So let's see. I know I can go long here, but this market is a falling knife. If I go long, I'd rather just go long on Apple. I'd rather go long on Apple. See the divergence? Like I said, this is a key level, but Apple's just clear divergence. I'd rather go long there, and I'd rather go short on AMD. So remember yesterday I taught you there's a difference between missing a trade and skipping a trade. I'd rather skip this. See that? Look at Apple, like that. That's fine. This is a key level. This is a valid long. This is right off our pre-market plan. I see more. I'm spotting more divergence on Apple than I am AMD. So I feel comfortable, right? Look at Apple taking a long on this name compared to this name. I feel comfortable taking a short on AMD than I do compared to Apple. So I would skip this trade on AMD, and I would prefer this to break under 227 in order to go short. So we shall see. Straight downside on the market, just straight downside. See, this is no surprise. I mean, hammer stick, step up here, buy step up here. We knew this was coming. This is a very strong level here. So I hope that makes sense on why I decided to skip this trade. These are 0 DTEs. You got in at 227.30. This thing's already at 229. You just got paid very well on that scalp alone. No surprise we see bar stepping up here though, because you can see Q's is pulling back to 602. That's a solid trade. Remember, we're still bullish bias on this market, so a lot of these are really just pullback longs. on the overall SPY and the Qs. I'd rather just take my long shot on Apple. It's just clear divergence there. Even though buyers are stepping up here on AMD, I mean, look at that. That's beautiful. So I hope this makes sense. When, like, okay, like in real time, right? You see me skip this trade, even though I'm seeing it set up. I feel like, well, if you look at just the Qs and AMD, there is no divergence between the two. They're pretty much in sync. So if Qs wants to stay heavy and the SPY wants to stay heavy, I'm not as comfortable going long on AMD if it wants to be in sync with this. Now, if I saw more divergence, different story. This is a big trade right here. If you caught that, kudos to you. It's a Friday. I had a good week. I'm not really looking to be too aggressive. I just didn't like the context here. I just did not like the context. Super solid. Hopefully we can see a V-shaped recovery on this market. Hopefully. This is a great trade on AMD. That's for sure, like over 40, 50%. There's no doubt. On the zero, there's no doubt. I'm just being conservative. I'm spotting clear divergence on Apple. I'd rather just wait for that. Yeah, we have orange folder news at 7. Market's only been open for 12 minutes. I'm being patient here. Super solid trade here on AMD. If you're able to catch that, that was a really, I mean, that's textbook. Hammer stick candle, pullback, buyer step in right at this key level. That is textbook. I'm looking to scalp this anyway. But if this thing goes from here to like back to the tie day, that's 100% trade. That is 100% trade. This is a key level. We saw this, this same reaction, what, 2 days ago? Or 2 days in a row, actually, on NVIDIA, prior to it finally breaking up this breaker structure level. So that's why I mark these key levels out like a different color, because these are very important levels, right? You don't think the big money is looking at these levels? These are breaker structure levels, right? If we break under that, that's the start of a lower low. That's a big deal. No regrets here, no FOMO here. I do not care. Like I said, I had a really good week. Look at AMD and Qs. They're in sync. They're both bouncing at the same time. So I didn't like that Qs is pulling to the downside and AMD is in sync with it. Why do I like Apple? Because it had clear divergence against the Qs. So I hope that makes sense. Context matters. It's a good trade though, for sure. It's a solid right off the pre-market plan. That's a solid trade. I doubt we will, but man, if Apple wants to pull back, I mean, you can see, right? Look at, Q's pulling back and then that's causing AMD to pull back. So these things are pretty much in sync. Q's going red to green, so is AMD. I don't really, mm, yeah, I'm not really fond of that. Yeah, these things are very much in sync. But nevertheless, here on Apple, like now, right now, my game plan a little bit on these names, like for scalps, it's either going to be that on Apple. This is really the A plus long. Can't forget that. If we get something like that, I don't mind scalping off of this. If we get something like that again, right, double bottom, I don't mind that. That looks super solid. I kind of just want to see a V-shaped recovery on this name. We'll see. We might get like a 7 a.m. pop. I mean, we do have orange folder news, so we'll see. Let's see. This thing pushed from 227.60 up to 231.86. Yeah, that's a big payday here on a zero. That alone probably would have been. I wouldn't be surprised if that was 100%, to be honest. Yeah, that's a big move. That's a big move. Right. So context matters. I kind of hope this makes sense. Sometimes what I also do, well, a lot of times, you've probably heard me say it in the past, like, oh, I'm looking to go long here, but the overall Qs is approaching a resistance level. So I don't want to take that trade because we could possibly reject. There's no surprise that we bounced here at our Q level and Qs was pulling back to our 206 and buyer stepped in. So you can clearly see AMD and the Qs are in sync. That's the reason I didn't want to take this trade. Just the market was just too heavy for me. I wanted to see clear divergence. So when buyers stepped up here, buyers also stepped up here, right? Because this could just be the way I'm looking at it. For a scalp, for sure, definitely take that. But the way I'm looking at it is right now, right, since we are pulling back, this could just be a lower low. Could just be a lower low. That's just how I'm looking at it. See what I mean? The whole point of a V-shaped recovery is like break of structure, break to the high day. That like now okay, buyers are definitely in control. Still a solid trade here on a scalp, 100% a solid trade. I think if this market wasn't too heavy and pulling back, AMD really could have ripped. See what I mean on Apple? Like it is sitting in a channel, but these big pullbacks here on this name, like it's I'm sorry on the Qs. Apple's holding up. We saw Apple give us a break in recess yesterday. I was long gone by then. I already had took one trade, but like Apple's setting up. We know we're bullish bias on this name. I'm going to see AMD get over that. That's a breaker structure. I'm definitely open to scalping AMD if we get over this 234.20. This is a big hold. I mean, it may be a little too early, but this 227, that's a big hold. So it's a great trade. Like this is the dip buy, but I was a little bit more open to short end of that because look at that. I mean, look at that. Look at that. That is a great. I mean, come on. This is why you have to on Fridays, treat all these plays like scalps. Um, Zero DTEs on tech names are 10 times more volatile than they are on the SPY and the Qs. You should know that by now. So, on a tech name like AMD, you get this and you go up to there, bro. That's easy. I know for a fact that's a 40, 50% trade. There's no doubt. And like you have to scale very aggressively and that's why I really don't scale on zeros because yeah, you can make more on the continuation, but you're waiting for that to play out, right? And you got theta. Like you don't really have time for it to play out. So that's why I just buy it the whole and sell it the whole, especially when I'm messing with zero. Really just being patient here on Apple. I mean, if it could break over that, right? It's a swing high, break and retest higher, that'd be solid. And I don't want it to make it seem like look at this entire week on SPY. This is this whole week, right? We needed that. This is this whole week. Look at Apple. See the difference? Like look how many red down close candles we have in this uptrend on the weekly time frame. This thing is really holding up. I mean, obviously, it's been a lot of news going on around regarding tech names and stuff like that. But Apple's respecting this channel, but this is normal. I'm telling you, if this thing wants to set up, it can. Like I said, it's pretty like funny out of all the tech names. This one has like the cleanest looking chart on the daily. Just trend, 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 consolidation, next leg higher, consolidation, waiting for that next leg higher. So Apple looks honestly the best looking chart out of every tech name right now, in my opinion, on the daily. We know what Nvidia looks like. We know what Tesla looks like. So yeah, I'm being patient here. Maybe I'm being biased. I don't know. I mean, we know we're bullish biased on Apple, but this thing's setting up for sure. I do not regret missing this. I don't like the context here, so I don't care about that. Really good shot. I could have took it, but with this being in sync, I don't like that. If you go back a little earlier on the pullback, you see the clear divergence here on Apple compared to Qs. That should be your attention. I want something that's either ahead of the market or behind the market. So that way, when the market does move in my favor, it gives me a boost in my play. Keep in mind that that's really just me being very conservative. If it's a Monday and I know I'm trading a name like Apple and AMD, I'm taking that shot really with no hesitation, just because it's a Monday, right? Those contracts don't move like that, like Tesla, as I always say on the underline. So I'm more open to like taking that risk early in the week. So we're just back in all of this. This was just all sideways action. It was just all sideways action. Like maybe you can, yeah, yeah. We're for sure bearish bias if we break under 653. There's no doubt. I'm looking at all these as like pullback longs still. This whole week was a pullback. So you really gotta wait to see how next week looks. Look at Apple. Look at Apple. I'm telling you. So next week, yeah, next week's a little different. And it's like what kills me sometimes because this is a weekly time frame. Look at like we never bat an eye when we look at these weekly candles, bro. You get like 8 weeks in a row, like it's crazy. Like 2, 3 months in a row of just straight upside. So when we see stuff like that, like oh we finally got a pullback, like yeah, bro, it's normal. It's trending. It has to pull back. I'll say, I mean, this week is definitely a big. Let's see, we started the week up at I would say 685.25. Right now we're sitting about 667. So yeah, I will say that this clearly was a very big pullback week, but we needed it. Remember that we had so many gaps in thin volumes in this market is unreal. See AMD, see Tesla. I'm sorry, QQQ. Just look at the pullback, the dip, rally, pullback, the dip, rally. These two names are in sync. They're pretty much twins right now. Look at that. That is crazy. That's why I didn't want to mess with that. To each their own, right? It's a valid trade. You definitely made 100% if you took that. I did not like that this market is heavy and AMD is not really showing me divergence, especially on a Friday. I'm being a little bit more conservative, waiting for extra confirmation, context, all that stuff. So you can clearly see these two names are in sync. That's no coincidence. It's a good V-shaped recovery. I mean, this was the dip buy. Maybe I could have like looked for a potential swing trade here on a next week on. That's just very aggressive with this overall market not really showing me buyers are in control, right? I just showed you the weekly. Like I'm swinging. I definitely want the market behind me, right? And look, like I said, all these are pullback longs until we break structure. There's no look at this. Just look left. See how buyers defended this? So these are all just pullback longs. Like I said, these are channels. So I'm avoiding it. But as long as we are above the 585, I'm sorry, 587.85, we are bullish bias. So we can see on this daily, strong buyers stepping in, strong buyers stepping in. Now this is a little bit of the contradiction here because I mean, you can see now these three names are pretty much in sync now. They all look identical. So if you ever come across, oh, well, this is a good one to hit on because I've been through this. Let's say you're looking at Tesla, you're looking at AMD or Apple, whatever, and they're all moving in your favor, and you're trying to figure out which name to trade. Oh no, all my plays are setting up. Which one do I take? You always take the one that has the better momentum. Remember, options are going to pay you more on momentum. You don't want to enter a trade and you're sitting in consolidation or sideways. So whichever has the better momentum, you take that one. Easy, easy call. I've been through that before as a trader. I don't know if you have, where I'm like, oh crap, like which name do I take? Like all three are setting up, all my alerts are going off. Momentum. Momentum is your best friend in options. We know that. We get paid more on momentum plays. What SPY might do here is retest to 667 and then go to the downside. You can see held a support during the pre-market. We broke that. So we still need that retest. So we'll see. Let's see. Yeah, even on the intraday, we didn't really get that retest. So we'll see. And you can see the SPY and the Qs are pretty much identical. All these are identical. All these are identical. Look at SPY. Look at Qs. So all these things are in sync. We did have orange folder news, but really nothing. Give me a sec. See, now if AMD wants to continue to push up while this pulls back, that shows me divergence. I like that. This honestly, this 22730, this is the key level here. That's like keeping us up on the higher time frame. This key level keeps us bullish bias. You can see we're starting to try and trend higher. See, look at this heavy pullback here on Qs. Look at AMD, but look at Apple, right? You can clearly see like buyers are in control. Buyers have been in control all week. Yeah, we're consolidating, but the overall market's pulled back all week and Apple hasn't, right? This thing has had divergence all week. I showed you yesterday. Give me one sec. Look at I showed you yesterday, right? We actually did get that break retest. We pulled back to 271.55. That's perfect. You're risking right under that. Ended up getting a push into high day. We tried to defend this level. So this thing is in play. It's in play. Okay, so I'm gonna make the assumption right now that the pullback that we were looking at is right here, right? Forecast was 53, actual was 50. So little reaction that we're looking at right now. It would be a very conservative play here on Apple, but this is on my close watch. I've been waiting for this. It'll scale down tremendously to take the shot, obviously, but this is good. I love the confluence here. Break over the high day, break a structure, intraday. We'll wait for a break and retest of our key level. Solid. So hope this makes sense, right? Like why I passed this trade, AMD, compared to just waiting for Apple. And if I don't get Apple, so be it. Like I said, I'm a risk manager first before I'm a trader. So in certain, of course, like depending on the setup, if the market is in sync, I love it, right? But if I'm looking for a pullback long, like and the market's heavy, and the name is also in sync with the market being heavy, it's just I don't like that. Context matters. So we see our level got respected on AMD to the upside, but I know I keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it. Look at Qs, look at AMD, and then look at Apple. That intrigues me. When you just look at the screen, you say everything's pulling back, but not this name. That intrigues me. So I'd rather be patient on Apple and then take my shot there. We're very biased on IWM now. We actually gap down. This was a weekly level. So IWM used to be so clean, bro. It just had its own personality of its own. I used to trade this very heavy. I used to trade this a lot. Just because you can trade 0 GTEs on this too. So I used to trade IWM very heavy, but you have to understand the personality of that. So I just kind of stopped. And then look at the daily. Like it's kind of just all over the place. It's a very bipolar name. Some days it trends so beautifully, and then some days it's just like, what is this? Let's see if we'll get it. If not, so be it. Looking for that, right? Target here. Do you want to see, you know, buyer step up there, push this thing higher? But the thing has a clear shot towards all-time highs. This is really the the best RR trade on Apple, to be honest. If Q's just wants to move sideways, we really can't be surprised. Just because we're in a channel now. We're back in the channel. See all these wicks down here? So you can kind of see we're just sitting sideways. And I promise you, if we break under 410, no one is going to be happier than me to start shorting Tesla, right? I think we're all ready to get paid. Um, there's a lot of thin volume in here. This was a straight up move. There's so much thin volume. There's gaps in here to get filled. We've been sitting in this thing for like over, bro, crazy. Hey, don't forget, if AMD wants to fall under 22730, I am open to shorting that. I am 100% open to shorting that. So yeah, very unfortunate here on Tesla. Really unfortunate. Just a weird one, bro. Just a weird one. You know, we had earnings, and I feel like out of every tech name, Tesla really didn't do anything on earnings. It didn't move higher, it didn't move lower, it didn't really have a big gap, nothing like that. The following day, it filled all this in volume. All of this week, Monday through, I guess, towards the end of the week. I mean, look at this candle here. This is yesterday, right? We've been flirting with this 466.50. So we were just waiting for that. Like I really thought we'll get it. We all did. We had a great trade on it on Monday. It looked promising, right? I remember this pushing to it. Like we've just been flirting with this up here. And last 2 days, just one of these. So just going to the downside. Like I said, we're above 410, we're bullish bias. We break under that, break a structure, looking to short that. But we really did our job as a trader. Like we only took trades on Tesla. I haven't traded Tesla like a lot at all. I think it's been over a month since I took a trade. No, not over a month, but I think maybe within a trading month, I only took 2 trades on Nvidia. So just being patient and avoiding these channels. Like there's nothing in here, right? So we did very well just holding our water, avoiding this channel. There's nothing in there, and then we took our high probability setups up here. I mean, going into next week, AMD is really solid. AMD's solid. Like I don't like that we got to set up on a Friday, but it is solid. Like this was a big hold here. This was a breaker structure hold. I mean, look at Q's pulling back to a Q level and everything else is pushing up with it. But there's still like big setups here on AMD, right? Like I would love I mean, look at that. Look at this wick here on this daily. Strong buyer stepped up. But I would love a long over 241.80. I broke that down to you yesterday. Like that's just so much thin volume. So if this thing wants to stay bullish, this is really our A plus trade as well. This 242.80. A break over that. Strong buyer stepping up at our key levels here. Right? Trend is your friend, the dip is your friend. On Qs, right? If you want to scalp these names, your highest probability setup is at the key levels. This is easy. Just one 2-minute candle alone is a 20% trade. That's a strong momentum bullish push. Maybe more than that. Look at that. Look at that. That is beautiful. You think this is a coincidence? Day in and day out. Love to see it. That means we did our job. And what's the difference between like right now, like Q's and AMD and Apple? The reason I'm really just focused on waiting on Apple is because Apple has a better RR setup. There's no overhead resistance on this name. There's no overhead. As soon as it gets over that, I mean, we can really target the previous day high, but there's no overhead resistance on this name. Volume's there on these cons. Look at that. Open interest, 20,000 volume. Delta sitting at 64. I would definitely at them on the cons. They're about a buck 80. That's cool with me. 711 right now. It's a slow one though. The thing's moving higher. This thing's moving higher. It pulled back to the bottom of the range, 267.10. It held it. So I want to get what we got yesterday, which is give me a sec. Look at yesterday. That's a strong blow off, right? I want that. I don't want this breaking base. I want like a decent breakout. And a nice bounce here on the SPY as well. So we'll see. Typically I mess around with 100 cons. I only look to go with like maybe half that, maybe like 40 to 50. It's there. It's there. You guys already know how I trade, so I'm looking for displacement. If we get a little breaking base, I mean that's cute, but I'm good. I am good. The divergence is there. Look at these names, right? Sitting sideways. And then Apple is clearly trending higher. Dip getting bought up, right? We're trending. The dip got bought up. Break over this swing high, retest it, continue higher. I would love for this to be pretty much our next swing high. We consolidate here a little bit, break above that, move higher. Solid, super, super solid. I'm not gonna force this though. If I don't get like clear displacement, I just have to pass on it. So for two solid trades set up really at our key levels, which is obviously AMD, and then a pullback long off at 602.85. Yeah, Apple looks solid on the 15 minute. I'm looking at it now on the 15. It looks good. Looks super solid. I like this pop all around the market. If AMD has more momentum, I'm open to going long on AMD over this 234.20. This really was the A plus long down here. It really was. No regrets on that though. Market open, just straight downside on the overall market, and these two names are in sync. I'm not messing with that. Look at the price to the left. Our key level is 271.40, right? We want a good displacement candle. I want a little pop through here. I don't want a little break. What I just break down to you in my last educational video, right? The number one thing we're looking for first is displacement. Traders make the mistake of as soon as we break the key level, let me look for the retest. No, no, no. I promise you, you start waiting for displacements on your breakouts, you will stop getting faked out. I promise you that much. And that's the other thing. A lot of traders think they're getting faked out. Nah, bro, you're not. You're not even playing the break and retest. That's the thing. I want this candle to close. Yep. And be patient. I like the divergence. I know it's a slow grinder. I know it's a slow grinder. Play at the money con, so they're trying to hold. Trying to be very patient here. If we can get this breakthrough here, I might have to get out. I want to see this momentum pop. I tried. These contracts are moving a little volatile on the zero. I tried. I can't sit in that too long. Sorry, folks. I tried. I tried. Not a big day. 600 bucks on that. 6%. I went in with 10K. I tried to hold that. It's a good trade. It's just on a zero. I can't. I can't do it. Those contracts started to lose their value pretty quick. I could have held, but like on that pullback, that contract went from like 14 to 6%. I was like, nah, I'm good. Solid day though. Like, plan my trade, trade my plan. I understand it's a zero DTE. It's a Friday. I would have loved to hold this. I mean, this thing looks solid, right? I could have played next week cons, but you're not getting paid next week cons on Apple on the underline. Those contracts are not moving. Look at this 5, 10, 15 minutes. The trend is your friend, right? We've seen this coming. I knew this was coming. Bro, I've been saying, which is so funny. Like, Apple has only been setting up on Fridays. Technically, yesterday we did get the break and retest, but can't make this out. Look at yesterday, though. Like, the momentum yesterday was way better. Clear breakout, retest till Friday. I'm not too surprised. Honestly, this looks good, though. This looks really solid. See that? I can't sit in that on a zero. I can't afford to do that. At one point, I was up like 17% at one point, but I can't mess around with that. See that? I did my best to manage it, though. I really did my best to manage it. Sorry, folks. But plan my trade, trading my plan. The most important thing is look at the displacement. You saw how I held my water. I just broke this down right in our educational video, waiting for entry confirmation at key levels. You saw how I held my water here. I wasn't so quick, right? I want to see, all right, what will this candle do, right? What's the market doing when this candle is forming? Took my shot. Was up like 17% for sure. Like I got a nice little momentum push. I tried to manage this on a 5 minute. It was on structure. This is patience, right? We got a breakout. Our key level here is 271.40. We got a candle closure at 271.80. So on a name like Apple, that's a good enough displacement. Our candle close, got the retest, hammer stick, right? This thing looks really solid though. It looks really solid. I mean, look at that. Sorry, give me one sec. Like the thing looks solid. I can't sit in that on a zero. I tried, but no. The big payday was this. No regrets not taking this trade at all. That was the big payday. We know we're bullish bias on this name. So I have the mic muted. What I was saying was you really want to sit in that. Look at that, right? That's solid. This thing is holding up. It is holding up. I can't sit in that in a zero. Those contracts lost their value pretty quick. They're starting to be very volatile. Any other day, right? You know me. I like to hold my trades. I like to milk them. I sat in the video for like over an hour. Like this thing is intact. This thing is intact, 100%. Like I always say, whatever key level you're risking off of, as long as you're above that level, your thesis is correct. You do not exit that trade, right? We're gonna trade differently on Friday, of course, but this thing is intact. I wanted it. I tried it. I was really looking for some momentum. Wasn't able to get it. Solid week. I thought we would have got a 10K week. I really tried because I know Apple can move. So not every day's a big day, right? It's a base hit type of day. Good way to start the month for sure. But like a couple of things for me to work on this week, and do not underestimate the power of like journaling. Something that I do is on pretty much like Friday nights or Saturdays, I study all my trades. I give at least maybe anywhere between 2 to 3 hours of thoroughly going through my journal, all my notes, and breaking down all my individual trades. And the reason for that being, right, is you got to be able to see, what you can fix. That's how you improve. Even like there's no such thing as perfection, right? But if you chase perfection, you'll achieve greatness. So when you don't have a winning day and just walk away and say, okay, today I won, I did everything right. So for an example, really my biggest mistake this week, and actually I'll go here since nothing's going on, I'll break it down with you. My biggest mistake this week was on Tuesday. It was on Tesla, and so I didn't like the contra moving too well, but I should have gave it time to play out. I ended up playing two strikes out of the price. That's why. So I just didn't accept the risk and hold this. I pretty much I tried to I try to, I guess, predict the outcome of the trade. I kind of got a late entry, and I didn't like that. Okay, I'm already two strike prices out of the money, and I don't like that these cons are not moving. And I should have at least held to the higher day, and I didn't even do that. So my first rule is to hold until my first PT gets hit, and I didn't do that. So you can see my mistake down here. No acceptance, embracing the risk. I took it off my daily. Right, I wasn't even in pretty much any drawdown. This thing shot up, and you can clearly see here. Right, I would have never got stopped out. Look at this big payday I missed out on. Right, would have made potentially $6,000 on this trade. So, you see it as like, oh, it was a green day. You won the day, but no, I made a mistake, right? I didn't accept the risk. I didn't hold my trade until my PT got hit. And that's on me, right? That mistake cost me money. It cost me money, right? So this is something that, okay, what did I do? And then I write down my mistake and I read it going into the next trading day. So just a little tip there, like I'll probably journal and this and that is every day I'm thoroughly journaling, right? You even see on that day, I wrote down everything I did wrong, right? So, the work is put in when the market is closed. Remember that. So that was my mistake. Like that, those are the ones you look back on and like, damn it, right? This easily would have been a 10K week. I had a nice entry, a little bit late for my liking, but I didn't like that I was playing two strikes out of the money, and it wasn't a Monday, and that thing actually ended up trending higher. So it's like little stuff like that. And for me, you guys know me, I'm very big on like RR trades. So 5%, that's terrible. Like I don't care to trade my P&L and L and make money. Like I sold that trade for 5%. There was no reason for me to exit that trade. I made the assumption, right? That's where I went wrong. So I wanted to show you that to show like, hey, I'm human too. But I made the assumption that, oh, these contracts are not going to move well. Let me get out of this trade. And that was my mistake. Price was above my key level that I was risking off of, which means my thesis is correct. I should have never exited that trade. And that's exactly what happens when you do. You leave all that money on the table. So hope that makes sense. Hope that helps. So pretty much, yeah, I'm done. 7:32 for me. Tried to stick around for you folks. I hope today was an educational day. Hope you're able to learn something. If you made money today, kudos to you. I mean, the game plan on AMD happened on the dot. We saw this play out right in front of us. That is a beautiful candle. That's exactly what you want to see on a retest. This was the candle we entered on Apple on the retest, right? Those hammer stick candles, being patient, and we ended up getting that. That is beautiful. That's textbook. So if you got that, I mean, you got paid today. So both of our pre-market plans played out. I took Apple, quick scalp. Like I said, you can't sit in this on a 0 DTE, but this thing is holding up. Look at this on the 5 minute. This thing is holding up. You got to sit in that. So pull back longs here on the overall market, but nothing's going on. So hope you guys had a good week. I will put up a poll for the next educational video, and I will make sure that I have that pre-market game plan out for you guys at the start of this weekend, so you can look over that and study that. But from today, right, what I just showed you, like journal. I don't care what type of week you have this week. Journal. You're winning trades, you're losing trades. What did you do right? What did you do wrong? What would you do differently? Right? You always have to do that. So I wanted to show you that on my Tesla trade. Could have been a bigger day. This week could have been far over 10K, but I shot myself in the foot, self-inflicted wounds, right? So that's on me, right? So I'm gonna go to the drawing board this week. I felt like I did very good execution-wise this week. But it's the days like I always say, it's a competitor in me. Tuesday, I botched that trade. That was probably the biggest winning day. I botched that trade, and you look back on those and those hurt, right? Opportunities are rare to come by, so when they do come by, take advantage of it. And that was a great opportunity, and I did not take advantage of it. So I want to end it with you on that note: is journal. win, lose, even on my cash days, I journal. Right, so that's something I really want you to know. Something you should do. Try and be a perfectionist. Let's see. I'm kind of seeing if we break under this. I know I said I'm done, but if we break under this on AMD, I might take my shot. Actually, no, it's a Friday. We're not breaking rules. We're not breaking rules. You saw me draw up at the beginning of this video. I would love to see a double top here, but I'm not messing around with that. I'm at zero. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, hope I was able to explain all that thoroughly to you. I hope you understood that. I'm really trying to read this. The thing is, Q's is bullish. These are pullback longs. So, but this 227, this is such a key level here on AMD, just because. Sorry, I know I keep saying I'm gonna be done, but I promise I'm done. I just want to break this down. Just because, look at that. If we break under this 227, man, there's nothing in its way to the downside. There's nothing in its way to the downside. You can see on the 15 bars are stepping up defending this. I was really looking for this daily double bottom for another opportunity. See this kind of setting up. See, I'm very happy with my sell here on Apple. And I didn't even really sell into the peak. Like I said, I was up 17% on those cons, but you can't afford to sit in that on a zero. You can't. So took my shot. We didn't get the momentum. The structure's there. The structure's there. Just didn't get the momentum in my favor, and there's nothing we can do about that. So, I mean, look at that. This thing is holding up. Apple looks really, really good. It's very annoying, but yeah, looks good. But yeah, hope you guys had a good week. I'm gonna call it here. Make sure you journal. If you had cash days this week, journal. If you won this week, journal. If you lost this week, journal. And then you study it. You study it. You study it. You study it. Right? If you're looking to make changes in your trading and you keep losing, the first step is figuring out why you're losing. Right? Definition of insanity: doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. This is really like the shot here on Apple. So, nevertheless, all right, I'm gonna call it here, guys. Gals, have a good one. Let's get after it. Let's keep this momentum rolling. And I will get those videos out for you this weekend, especially the pre-market plan video. So, thank you guys for the love, support, rocking with me. Let's keep this ball rolling.